I'm also going to mute everybody, and then you could have unmute yourself. So I just have to find a mute all. Okay, so if you want to unmute yourself, Jan, and then you'll have the floor.
Okay, hello everyone. My name is Jan. I've been with the Camera Club for quite a few years now. I do like macro photography, and this is going to be my show and tell. I hope I can, I'm not doing too bad. Lawrence did a great job, so I will not be able to match him. But anyway, the thing is, what is macro photography? Macro photography is basically taking pictures of small things and make them look big on the camera. So you have to go that the subject is the same size as the sensor on your camera. All right, it's a little smaller, no problem. But anyway, that is what is defined as macro. Now I would like to share my screen. Do I just hit screen save, share, I guess, I suppose. Okay, good. And I'm going to put this one up. And it's supposed to start here, I guess, and then I have to go and, where am I? Let's see. Slideshow. Good. That's from the beginning.
No share yet.
Not sharing it. John.
It's not sharing. Oh, but Jiminy Cricket, what am I doing wrong here? Look at that.
There's a second button you gotta press after you use.
Okay, it's share.
Did
Okay.
you share screen?
Yeah, does it work now?
We have a picture of your screen now, I think,
Okay, is it okay?
but it's not your slideshow.
No, that'd be this one.
Perfect. Yep, we see it now.
Good. Now, from the beginning. Well, it's a small world after all. There's so many details in small stuff that you don't really realize normally. I mean, you see a fly in the wall, and yeah, get the fly swatter, hit it, and you never realize actually what you hit. So anyway, what I was saying before, you're supposed to have 1-to-1 magnification, roughly. So if it's 25 millimeter on your subject, then it is 25 millimeter on your sensor. The difference sometimes is if you use a full frame or you use a crop sensor, that the same, if you get the same distance with the same picture, the picture on 1-to-1 on the crop sensor will be larger than on the full frame. Is it really important? I guess not, but anyway. Picture one, well, this is not really macro, but it's coming closer. So is this. This was taken actually with the telephoto lens. It's with 400 millimeter in 4/3, so that would be 800 millimeter equivalent to full frame. And it was, I would think, about 1.5 meters, maybe about 1.5 meters away from the scene. So it makes a really interesting picture to catch insects in flight. Oh, come a little bit closer to macro. We see the whole picture is sharp. I'll explain why later. Now we get into macro. Anybody have an idea what this might be? Well, oh, by the way, if anybody has questions, just chime in and I'll try to answer. Actually, this is the seed of an apple, cut in two. That is that fly that they hit on the wall. This also was, the eye is sharp and the snout is sharp. The rest is kind of blurry. Well, what do you need to make macro pictures? First thing, just a standard lens will do just fine. And to make it work for macro and to be able to go closer up, you can use extension tubes, or actually I don't think they're around that much anymore, but they used to use bellows. And those would do basically the same as an extension tube, with the difference is that you can change the length of your extension tube that way. Another way to do it is add a macro lens in the front of it. It's a small, I don't know what you call it exactly. It's Raynox anyway, and it gives you quite a bit magnification, and you can go a lot closer to your subject. And of course, you can also combine the two, which makes it even come closer than that. The cheapest way to go, of course, is with the extension tubes. They're not expensive. And the good thing with extension tubes is they do not, there's no glass in them. So they do not deteriorate your lens at all, whereas extra glass can. This is the setup, not what I use, but this is the standard lens, plus that Raynox lens in front of it. Better to go is with a macro lens. A macro lens has the capability of going 1-to-1, as you can see on the lens here. And then, of course, you need a tripod. Important, like you have to be very still. Thing with doing macro pictures, and you come that close up, it has something in common with a telephoto lens. Everything that you see on the back, any little movement will make the camera shake. It has to be really, really steady in order to get a good picture. This little table tripod, actually, it's the tines of a potato digger. So I've made it myself one time. On top of it, you'll see a focusing rail. That's something else that's really nice to have, because it allows you to focus. You know, maybe only sometimes maybe 10 millimeter, maybe 15, maybe 20 millimeter away from your subject. And the depth of field is very, very shallow. And if you set your lens at 1-to-1, then you can dial in. So you see the slide rule. The slide rule can move by turning the knob number 2, and that just brings it closer or further away from the subject, and then you can lock it in with number 3. Again, extension tubes, also for the macro lens, in order to be able to get more than a 1-to-1 magnification. Again, put the same Raynox lens on the end of that. I got an adapter, and it screws right into my macro lens, so it makes it quite nice. You use the shutter, a remote shutter cable, so you won't move the camera. Of course, you can use a wireless remote or a self-timer. Anything works. The lighting, what I really like is the ring light, and this is an LED ring light, and it will also help a lot with focusing and composing. It will flash as well, this one, but I just usually use it as a ring light. It's quite bright. Again, comes from Ivan's, so. Or use a regular flash, works well off camera. Very often, if you use the on-camera flash, you will create shadows in front of your lens because you're so close up to your subject. There's my setup. I also have a 1.4 converter in front of it, plus extension tubes. and then the little lens in the front of it. So that gives me quite a lot of magnification. If I set the lens at 1:1 magnification, I come very close. Here's the light in front of it. This is as close as I can come. This is 3mm wide. I just took a picture of a measuring tape. So that gives an idea. The thing is, with macro, the depth of field is very, very, very shallow. It's maybe only a 1/10 of a millimeter or less. So that is not much. So I do photo stacking. And what you do is you take a number of pictures at different focal points of your subject. So as you can see, I started to take a picture of the front leaf. I guess it's a leaf, if you call the thing. And as I go through it, you see the focus change. There's a whole bunch of I guess maybe there's 10 or 15 pictures. Now only the background is in focus. And the result is a picture that is completely in focus, right from the very tip to the background. Of course, not, well, only on the right-hand side. And to get rid of the back, I guess I put it in Photoshop and just chose select subject, and I made it the background.
Jan,
Yes.
with the photo stacking, do you use layers and do it manually?
No.
Or you use some software?
Oh no, I use software. I never
Okay.
did it manual because the computer can do it a whole lot better than I can, I believe.
Which software do you use?
These were done in Photoshop,
Okay.
but I also downloaded Helicon. And the Zareen Stacker is another one. And there's other ones that will do it.
You call that Helicon?
Helicon, yeah. It's, what am I at here? I got it somewhere here. Let's see. Helicon Stacker, Helicon.
Yeah. Okay, thanks.
That is specifically for doing photo stacking. It does a better job, I find, than Photoshop can. For simple ones, it works fine. If you use more complicated stacking, like sometimes you can go up to maybe 100 pictures that you want to stack together. Now, the next one is a dime. As you see, it first picture is close up, a little further away, a little further away. I don't think I put all the steps in here, by the way. It's not important anyway, but this gives a good idea of what you're doing. And you see the shallow depth of field of it. There it is, the stacked image. And you get you get great detail in something like that. It's just laying on a piece of cloth. So that gives you an idea. There is the blow up of it. That's a geode. Yeah, what's a geode, you say? It's something I didn't know. Anyway, it's a rock with, I'm not sure what you call these things. Anyway, neither here nor there. Again, you take a detail of it and you take a picture of the surface. It's sharp, but the inside of it is not. That comes closer and here a little bit further so that you can see the depth, everything is clear in it, and you stack it. Gives you an idea. The next sample is something different. Anybody have an idea what this might be? It's, I would think that the cross section is maybe 4 millimeter. So that's fairly close up. Again, it is stacked in maybe 25 pictures in order to get everything reasonably sharp. I'm not saying it is 100%, but it's not bad. This is also, this is what it is. And it's not the moon, by the way, even though it has little craters and it has little mountains on it. Again, I did not take all the stacked images. I just took a few, again, to give an idea. There you go. That's the stacked image. It's pretty rough. Almost looks like a golf ball, only there's no dimples. It's just bubbles instead. Well, the next thing I will tell you what it is. It's an egg. Who would have thought that would have been an egg, eh? So there's a pebble. Again, that's, well, there's more images to this one. The closer you come, the more images it takes to get everything sharp. And again, the depth of field is so small. I just had it laying on, I can't forget where it was laying on, but anyway, it was reflecting pretty nicely. By the way, that is the same dime. And those grains of sand are maybe 2 millimeter and 1.5, no, but less than 1.5 millimeter. Anyway, there's a few more pictures here. Again, it's a smaller grain of sand, maybe 0.5 millimeter. And the same cloth. Not much to it. That's salt out of a salt shaker. I believe that's what it was. It's been a while since I took this one. My daughter had a splinter in her foot. Took that out. I thought, hey, that's a good size splinter. Better take it out. Take a picture of it. Our famous housefly. And that is a fruit fly. Something else with a lot of detail is a moth. It's dead, by the way. I found it in a spider web. It's too bad in a way. I would like to be able to get some pictures of live insects. They're very hard to train to sit still. Sometimes it will work though. I've seen a couple of people on Facebook or on the internet that really did a fantastic job, say on jumping spiders and that type of thing. There's the moth. I made it sit up on a stalk. Well, my wife asked me to clean the lampshade. There was a couple of specks in it. Wasn't sure what it was, but anyway, I took it down and looked a little closer. Said, hey, that's interesting. Time for a picture. That's the background. And that is like photo stacking. There's quite a few cameras that have the capability of focus bracketing. So you take maybe, well, as I said before, you can take up to 150. This one will take up to 999 pictures stacked. And then once they come out of camera, then you have to bring them into software, and the software will stack them for you and make it one complete image. Really interesting stuff. Mine will also do stacking in camera, but only in JPEG, and up to 15 images. So very often it works not too bad. There's my spider. Of course, unfortunately, it was dead as well, but you just do not realize the detail that is in those things. That's a snow crystal. It's not the nicest one. I've seen much better ones, but anyway, that's just neither here nor there. This is what I had. I was going to take some, but I just couldn't find any. Another one. I will not let you guess. This is a slice of apple with some food coloring in it, with the light behind it. That's about it for me. That is a short presentation of small stuff. If there's any questions, just if I can, I'll answer, and if I can't, I won't.